Welcome everyone to 2017 Blade&Soul World Championship. We are finally here. We've been waiting for an entire year to be on this day, and we are on day one of our World Championship. My name is Joel Sophie. Along with me is Ending Life, and we are finally beginning with so many teams finally introduced in Korea, and we'll get to see many of them starting today. We'll be starting with the group stages, the preliminary rounds to begin us off, and as we advance to the next rounds as the days to come. But so many exciting teams and so many exciting events coming up. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel so great. And as you just mentioned, Joel, preliminaries for 3 days straight until Friday. And on Saturday, Korea time, we'll start with the quarterfinals. And I'm so excited that we have a long preliminaries, that we get to see all the teams and see how they play. And, you know, we can kind of see how the foreign teams that came to Korea to play in the offline tournament, in the World Champions, to see how they adjust and cope with this new ping, new environment, and I hope they all do well.
As you mentioned about the foreign teams, Ending, you see how they will compete in this overview that we're seeing right now with the schedules showing for us all. It's open qualify, which is the preliminary rounds of the group stages, if you like to call it, for those 3 days. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will be those days where we finish up all the teams to go up against each other to see who comes out on top to move to the quarterfinals, which will be happening on Saturday, moving right on to the semis on Sundays. And the week after that, the Friday coming after that, will be the grand finals to decide the winner of it all. Woo! Very, very exciting. But here's the overview of the participating teams. You see here, Korea teams, China team, they have 3 seeds available, and the first seed are the top seeds. And we'll explain a little later on how that will change the playing field. But see, the Europe, Japan, North America, and Russia, Taiwan have 2 representatives both, with Thailand and Vietnam having 1 representative each.
Yeah, and we have a total of 18 teams, if I counted correctly.
Yep.
We were actually thinking of reading all the names of the teams for you guys, but there's too many, so we just skipped over that part. And here we go with the group standings.
And this
group
is
A, B, C. Group A, B, C, D. We have them in order. And we do have a lot of teams here. And we have the 2 teams that aren't listed here. As you see right now, we see 16 teams. The 2 teams, which is GC Busan Red from Korea and Sky from China. These 2 are the top seed teams, so they get a bye round in the preliminaries.
So they're exempt from the group stages, which means it's an indication of they're already good enough. They're going to advance from the group stages anyway. So we already advanced them over to the quarterfinals, which will be happening on Saturday. But you see the mix and match. And that's the format that we will have for the first time in World Championship. And it's not going to be just a single and tag separated, but it will be that similar, very familiar format that you've been used to all year long. We'll be seeing them all throughout the World Championship. You see the matches being listed here. You saw Group A and Group B is now listed here, but so many represented teams. And really, the addition of EU and NA and the new additions with the other regions that haven't been introduced in the previous seasons, it's going to be very exciting to see how they do.
Yeah, and exactly. And you guys just saw the overview, and it kind of skipped over kind of quickly. We do have the first part, like the first half and the second half, as like the Korea wildcard event, if you guys were with us. There's going to be so many teams. Like I said, there's going to be 16 teams playing. So we do have the first part, and then we do have the second part at 1900 KST again, continuing with the preliminary. So just stick around when we do go to breaks, and when we might have that quote-unquote longer break in the middle, and that is when we take a little bit of rest for the players and for us as well, and all the cameramen and everybody, the OGN staff.
We all need it.
Yeah, we all need it, and then we'll start back at 1900. So don't go away.
The conclusion of it all is that it's going to be a long marathon to finish up these preliminary rounds. 3 full days to finish us all, and that's what we're going to be needing to see how all the teams prepare and how all the teams actually do against each other. We've been hearing, we've been talking to the NA teams and also the EU teams right before this started, and we talked about how they have been scrimming against the Korean teams, then they haven't fared not too badly, and it's going to be a very much some kind of unexpected, thinking that NA and EU having started at a much later season compared to the Korean teams and also the other Asian teams. They're going to be pretty ready to go up against any opposition that they face. So it's going to be interesting to not really just count them out just yet. And we're going to hope to see them do very, very well in this tournament.
Yep. And finally, it seems like we are getting the players' faces on camera. For our first match, we have Thankyou9527 from Taiwan. And they are going up against
Pengandi. Pengandi also from Taiwan as well. Thankyou9527. As you see here, they're one of the teams from Taiwan. They're going to be going up against very much their Taiwan counterfeits. So it's a very much a home match, but in an away environment, if you can say. See these three players here. And very different to the Korean players is that they only have one class registered for them, so they have no backups if they want to change up their strategy. So Woo Yan-bin on the summoner is very much something we don't see much in Korea, but we saw in the EU teams and the NA teams and also the other different regions having been to use that summoner a lot more than the Korean team. So it's going to be see what they see out of the summoner that we don't. And it's going to be an interesting question that we have to ask of them, and hopefully they'll show us once the games do begin. But
that team did have a summoner. We do have a destroyer and a blade master for that composition. So it just seems as if, the summoner and the blade dancer might have to do some work putting out that damage because they don't really have an assassin or warlock to do that crazy burst damage. And now on screen we have Pengandi, the other Taiwan team. And this team has two classes registered for, out of these two players.
They're masters. They can play two classes.
This is better than just having one.
I do agree, because you do have some backup strategies that you prepare for the team in case the games don't really flow your way, and you can really switch those up, especially if you have a guy like that. Tanghoon-Chu, we have the destroyer and also the blade dancer options. So very flexibility going towards both sides. And we have another blade dancer in the mix as well. So they have so much different composition that they can really work with and really mix around. And that's going to be a lot of an advantage going against a team that really only has one class registered.
If you remember Pengandi, they did have an assassin on their lineup. So, like I said, Thankyou did not have an assassin or a warlock, but Pengandi did have an assassin and a warlock. So we'll have to see how this plays out.
And this is the very first match we would like to see with the summoner, seeing how they really make that into a flexibility, because Woo Yan-bin on the summoner will be going against Tanghoon-Chu with the destroyer. And usually we don't see a summoner versus destroyer very much, just because we don't have a summoner that much in Korea. But how do you see these two matches going up?
Well, we'll have to see. They are from the same country. I'm pretty sure they've practiced with each other many times. So we'll have to see, because they probably know what the outcome is better than us.
Yeah, they do. And it's really interesting. Because like I said, they're both Taiwanese teams. They've been playing with each other for probably a long time now in the same region. But we're going to be seeing them face off in Korea for the first match of World Championship 2017. We're going to be facing off with the two Taiwanese teams to get to see who gets the first point in this match. Let's get it on. There we go. For the first match, the World Championship 2017 has finally begun ending.
Yes. And right now on screen, we have Yan-bin on the summoner and Hong-Soo on the destroyer.
Very characteristic of these Taiwanese teams is that they're a lot more fast-paced teams than we've seen from Korea, and they're very aggressive in how they play things out. You see already from the first moments of the game, there's a summoner damage.
Crazy with
There's
the
no way with the destroyer can get out of that, because the Bumblebee is putting so much damage on the destroyer. There's no escape tool for that guy.
Jeez, yeah, you don't want that summoner to just Bumblebee you down like that. Oh gosh. And just to add, everything is in English.
Very much, yeah.
I was so
I kind of just just realized I actually very familiar characters compared to the Korean counterparts.
There we go.
But
the cat did some work.
Summoner picks out the first win, but this guy we have some summoners in Korea we've seen before, but they do not finish out their opponents this quickly.
Yeah, definitely not. And it just seems like the Destroyer is not that surprised. Maybe they did have a lot of matchups where, you know, the summoner maybe wins majority of the time.
Yeah.
You know, usually when you get knocked out this fast, you have that surprise face or something. But, you know, this Destroyer is like, okay, yeah, this happened many times before. And the summoner also doesn't, you know, he's smiling right now, but just like, it's the usual kind of. But here we go. Yeah, we do have the cat holding it down. And, you know, the Destroyer had to use both his escapes super early on, and he did live on for a little while right now with the Ember Stomp down, so the cat couldn't CC him. But when he got out, that's when the cat CC'd him and grabbed him down again right about now.
There you go.
And that's when the summoner finishes him off with the Rumble.
And we always talk about the summoner in theory that if you get the opportunity, it's probably the most damage output potential than any other class that we know in Blade and Soul. But he really did get that opportunity with the cat, putting down the Rumblebee just over and over as soon as he was put out on stun, and he had to use escape very, very early. So very big opportunity that we saw from Wuyan being on that summoner. So very good job of him for doing that. Let's see who the second players are to start off the day. Gonna have the Destroyer, Sudong Shan on the Destroyer with Husing Chang on the Assassin. And it's gonna be the Assassin that Thankyou do not have on their team. So you already know how to face off against it, but this will be very similar with the Summoner going against the Destroyer. But on the other end now, with the Destroyer for Thankyou going up against a very mobile Assassin.
Yeah, usually in the Korean scene, when it's a Destroyer versus Assassin, majority of the time the Assassin has the advantage, you know. But like I said before, this is Worlds, and we have different countries that we are seeing now with new players. So let's see how this will go down in the second set. Let's get it on.
Sudong Chan on the Destroyer will be going up against Switching Shang on the Assassin for the side of Pengandi. Very, very interesting matchup, and usually when we see a matchup like this in Korea, we usually do say the Assassin has much of an edge because of that mobility that it has in favor of the Destroyer.
Alright, pulls him in onto the Ember Stomp, makes him use the flower right off the bat. Here we go.
Sort of a silly bombard that we saw. It was sort of a panic fat finger bombard right there.
Fat fingers. Yep, there we go with the body swap.
There we go, gets a stun initially.
And he has to make his move because he is out of all of his escapes, the Assassin, so he has to take his time and do as much damage as he can.
Definitely we see from the Taiwanese teams very different from the Korean teams, where they do not save their escapes as easily as the Korean team. The Korean teams usually like to save their escapes even if they take the damage in the trade of it, but these guys definitely not really hesitant on using the escapes right away if they are in the face of danger.
Yeah, it's good that the Assassin, like you said, Joel, he did use his escapes very quickly, but he did take advantage of that. So the Destroyer is actually down 50%, maybe 55% health.
Down on his tab escape once again, the Destroyer now. He does get caught by the Assassin once. We would really hope that the Assassin could finish him up in time, but also he already forces the Assassin to use the tab escape now with the stealth now being gone on cooldown.
Yep, the Destroyer will get his gust back in 4 seconds. There we go. He uses persistence right now. He has to make his move. The drag does not connect.
It's gonna be the body swap trying to pull him in, but Assassin did not get the strike there as he wanted.
Destroyer is out of stealth. There we go. He lands that stun. He has 10-second window to do as much damage as he can. I hope he calculated that the Assassin is out of his.
Could not get the confirmed damage onto him.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and now it's the Destroyer time.
13 seconds. Poison breath onto the.
Might be over.
Might be over with the bombard is going to be finishing us off. So the Assassin gets a win for the Pengandi, and it's going to be 1-1 even with the two sides. Like I said, these Taiwanese teams, they're really familiar with each other about how they will play, so they kind of already know what to expect out of each other. So even if it's in a new playing field that we have here in Korea for them, it's going to be a very familiar matchup that they've always been used to.
Oh, yeah.
And seeing how they really progress on with this is going to be an interesting thing. But just a reminder once again, this is going to be a best of 4 for the preliminary round. So 1-1 even. So the next round with the tag match will be our last match of the series.
So right now, in this replay, right now, when the assassin was out of all of his escapes, it was the destroyer's chance to finish him off actually. And when that back roll happened, the destroyer should have saved one of the CCs to chase him, but unfortunately the chase didn't happen, which gave back the attacking, the offensive move for the assassin in order for him to finish off the destroyer. So
and before the destroyer started out with the pommel, we saw him slightly start off that judgment cleat combo, but did not continue on with it. He went with the pommel right away after that. It might have been a decision error on his part, but like you said, having that CC available is a very important thing. If he had calculated this timing on the lack of the cooldown of that escape, so didn't do that part wisely, so he kind of lost his chance to win out the game. So it gave the assassin a very easy opportunity to use the CC to finish him off.
Yep, exactly. And now we are getting ready for our third match and the last match of our first set.
Already?
Yeah. They are tied 1-1 and the tag matches are worth 2 points, which, you know, whoever wins gets 3 points for the win.
That's true, and the best for the first to 3 does get the win, and we are currently on 1-1 even scoreline between the two teams with Thankyou9527 and Pengandi, both from Taiwan once again, starting us off the 2017 World Championships. Very interesting how they really faced it off, and this tag match should be a very casual, usual suspect for all of these teams.
I'm actually very excited to see how the Taiwanese team will play in the tag match, because, you know, we've always been seeing the Korean players play the tag.
That's true.
You know, so I'm very excited to see different countries come in with the tag team tournament and, you know, show us what kind of style they have.
And we observed them in the regionals as well slightly and saw how different their playstyles were compared to the Korean teams. I mentioned this earlier, aggressive playstyle is something very unique in their characteristic along with the Chinese teams as well. But no more time for that. We're going to go right on to the match with the tag match, deciding for us all who's going to take that first win in the World Championship. Will be the first Taiwanese team to do it. Let's get this match underway. Let's get on. Although this is still in a group stage format, we're still very on the important side of picking up every win that you can, and all of these teams really wanting to do that with Thankyou9527, Pengandi starting us off. Just a win here to grab either side the first victory of this tournament.
Yep, the assassin versus summoner. He is trying to take him out of stealth. There we go. The assassin makes his move. Unfortunately, nothing comes out of it. There we go. The first knockdown and the stun.
The bombard doing so much damage
with the poison breath.
An accumulation of 3 bombard strikes and then another one doing so much damage. The summoner really can't get out of this one.
Alright, good interference so the summoner could save his tab escape to live another day. The summoner does still have that tab escape available.
It seems like Yanbin is really keen on staying out of the field as long as he can without having to use that tag point early, which is exactly what he's trying to do.
Alright, so he tab escaped and then tagged out right away, and the destroyer is in against this assassin. And this assassin is doing work. He has already given 1 point to Pengandi in the singles, and now he already made the opponent use the tag point first.
And with so much damage output on the summoner as well as from the beginning of the game, but this might be changing it all because the assassin takes a lot of damage from the destroyer along with the interferer coming in.
Ooh, the fury build on the destroyer. How is he going to use it? He better get that right timing to get in there with the CC and the fury.
He's going to require a lot of defensive interference if he does get into trouble with that fury build.
There we go, makes his move.
Trying to go for that damage, and very characteristic of Taiwan to really go for this aggressive build, even on the destroyer going with that fury build. The assassin is not going to give him room.
He's making his move. The fury is procced.
Okay, the fury's proc, but not much damage really coming in. He's going to be force tagged in. Onto the Warlock for the first time. Chi Yang is going to be showing his face for the first time.
Alright, let's see how this Taiwanese Warlock is, because we've been seeing only Korean Warlocks these days.
Yeah.
There we go, the Warlock. Oh, the time distortion is proc.
It seemed like the Destroyer wasn't very confident about the matchup against the Warlock, but still tags into the Blade Master, which takes a lot of damage already.
That was a good Iron Fortress to help him out to take less damage. We've got the Blade Master is in against this Warlock right now.
So Yahweh, we haven't seen a glimpse of this guy at first in the singles, but we get to see him now. With the interfere, very quick reactionary 2v2 coming along the way.
All right, I think this is not bad at all. The good reactionary 2v2 is what they need, and they are doing that.
Oh, and the Warlock putting in damage now onto the Blade Master. Yahweh taking up so much damage.
Might want to tag out. You might. There we go.
That was a good time to tag out. That was not much health to work with. The Bombard trying to put in, but this Assassin just all together putting so much work for his team and really carrying the load of what he's supposed to do to help his team do a victory.
Yeah, the weight of his team on his shoulders. And if you see the resource points right now on Pengandi side, on the red side, is definitely more advantageous compared to the Thankyou team right now.
And like we mentioned in the first single that we saw with the Summoner putting out so much damage on the Destroyers, it's only if you get the opportunity to put in damage, but if you don't get the opportunity, it just feels no consistent damage as an Assassin could. So it's definitely the advantage he has there. Less risk going on, but it might be the start of that opportunity that we've been talking about. Puts in decent damage onto the Assassin, which finally forced him to tag out. But it's very good chase. As soon as he comes in, the Destroyer was left in a very short corner. As soon as he came in, but very good damage output as soon as it. Destroyer
is doing work. The cat is doing work. The cat knocked the Assassin down twice in a row, forcing him to tag out. And now it's a Destroyer mirror match.
Now Ching Shang on the Assassin had to tag up, but as soon as Hung Shu came in on the Destroyer, just took so much damage with that very short distance that he had to work with. But now the Destroyer is trying to go to work.
Offensive interfere came in, doing a lot of damage to the blue side Destroyer, and he's out of all of his escapes.
Don't try now. He has one tag left available, so he's gonna use it to Yahweh. Back onto the field now.
Oh, this is not looking good. There's still 2 minutes and 35 seconds until you get another interfere point, and on the red side, the blue side, it's not looking good right now.
The Warlock putting damage on Yahweh. He might be enough to finish him off, but just survives barely. And Chi Yang on the Warlock doing work as soon as Yahweh has to come in, but Yanbin on the Summoner is back out onto the field, trying to do some counter damage onto the Warlock now.
He's doing some damage right now with that Sunflower.
Now Chi Yang on the Warlock does have the escape available. If he chooses to use it, he saves it for now.
Oh, gets shackled. Right now, it's still not looking good for Thankyou at all. They have so many zeros on the
and
board.
That's gonna be the first man knocked out. Yanbin is gonna be the first person to be knocked out with the Summoner. Being the first character knocked out, but the two other classes, most significantly, they have very little HP they have to work with. Yahweh does have one interfere, but it's going to be with a very little HP. If he does decide to come in, it could be a very risky choice to go with, but...
there might be an instant double kill if he comes in at the wrong time.
Definitely is.
Oh,
but he has to come in now.
Okay, he ends up not coming in, and the Destroyer dies.
It seems like there's no control over this match whatsoever. Ching Shang on the Assassin, just really forcing their opponents to make a tough choice. Couldn't send him on the defense to interfere because he knew that double kill would have been inevitable, but there's nothing really you can do when you have so little HP to work with, and you have the Assassin dominating like that throughout the match. But very good at Pengandi to pick up that first win of Worlds 2017. They will get the first win on the paper and the first points on the group stage.
That is very good for them. And, you know, I just noticed that, you know, throughout this matchup, even though Thankyou did take 1 point away in singles, in the tag match, you can see that Pengandi has more teamwork overall, or more experience. I don't know. Experience plus, you know, teamwork. But they did definitely overall play way better than Thankyou, because managing their resource points, you can just tell that at the end of this match, they all still had at least ones on their board. Whereas Thankyou, you know, they had all zeros except one, you know, interfere at the end.
I do agree with you on the teamwork part. I do agree with the teamwork on part, but most of the part has to go this guy. On the Assassin really
he was amazing. He was amazing. He is actually one of the reasons why Team Thankyou had to use all that tag and interfere points to negate or to dodge the stuns or to dodge this the damage that the Assassin was putting out.
Really, because Suching Sang on the Assassin really made the Summoner, who played very well on the first singles, look dumbfounded, because He was trying to go on the first man of the match, trying to control the game for his team, Thankyou, but really nothing happened because the assassin was so dominating the first few minutes of the match, and really the other team had no answers for that whatsoever.
No answers.
So it seemed like they knew what to expect, but did not get the win this time around. We're gonna go to a short break. After that first win gathered by Pengandi, we're gonna go over to the second match after this break. We'll be right back.